Hi everyone, welcome back to Mr. Gard's maths class. Today we're going to be looking at speed and how to work out the speed of something. Now, speed is the rate of distance travelled per unit of time. So commonly we will refer to speed as kilometres per hour if we're thinking about running or driving a car. But speed doesn't have to be in kilometres per hour. That's not really very useful when we're talking about the speed of a rocket ship or how quickly the Earth is travelling around the sun or how fast an ant walks. So depending on what we are trying to explain will depend on what units of measurement, whether we're talking about meters, kilometres, centimetres, light years, or we're talking about time as in minutes, seconds, hours, or years. So there's a few key formulas to work this out. And I'm going to write them down, and I suggest you write these down. The first one is speed. So the speed is distance divided by time. Now, assuming you remember how to rearrange equations, we're ultimately just going to be rearranging these equations. So in order to find out what distance is equal to, we need to multiply from the speed equation both sides by time. So distance is equal to the speed multiplied by the time. And if we're going from that formula and we want to find out what time is equal to, we need to divide both sides by speed. Now, I'll let you work all of that out later and why we do those things. Distance divided by speed. Right. Now, we're going to look at a few questions here. We might start with the one at the top right on the yellow sticky notepad. So, in this case, we have a runner that travels 3 kilometres in 15 minutes. We want to know what is the average speed. Now, it's important that we refer to this as the average speed because they are likely to start off slowly as they go from a stationary position, or maybe the last kilometre they slow down. I know I certainly do when I go for a run. I definitely start off quickly and cannot keep that pace up. So in this case, we have three things that we need to find out. We need to know the distance, we need to know the time, and we need to know the speed. Now in this case, and in most of these situations, we're going to be given two of the three unknowns. So the first one for distance is we have 3 kilometres. And again, it is really important that we show our units because 3 kilometres is different to 3 metres. We could write it as 3,000 metres. It ultimately depends on what the question is actually asking you. And in this case, the question doesn't clarify, does it want it in kilometres per hour, kilometres per hour or metres per hour or seconds per hour. So we'll just assume that they want it in kilometres per hour. So we'll write that up here just for our own sake. So let's find it in kilometres per hour. So the distance is 3 kilometres. The time is 15 minutes. Now this is important because 15 minutes is not 15 hours. We could, if we want to, turn it into hours, which is what we're going to need to do. So 15 minutes in hours is not 0.15. It's a common mistake. Is 0.25 hours. It's a quarter of an hour. And then the speed is our unknown. So looking to the left of the screen, the formula that we need to use that will make it easiest for us is the top one. So speed is equal to distance divided by the time. Now the speed is, we'll just call it S, is equal to the distance, 3 kilometers, divided by, oh, changed to a purple pen, is equal to 0.25 hours. Now, we don't normally like decimals in a fraction, but ultimately the speed is equal to 3 divided by a quarter. There are 4 quarters in one, so there must be 12 quarters in 3. So we have a speed of 12 kilometers per hour. Now notice that I wrote kilometers, the slash, which means per hour. Now you can also look at this and go, does that seem reasonable? Well, yes. I mean, I guess as if you ran pretty quickly, you could run 12 kilometers in an hour. And that's a pretty steady to fast running pace. But you could, well, some people could do it. So yes, that does seem reasonable. It doesn't say 120 kilometers per hour because that would seem a little unreasonable. Let's have a look at the one in green. How long, let's get a blue pen, light blue. How long will it take a hiker to walk 15 kilometers if he walks at 4 kilometers per hour? So again, we need to know what it is we're looking for and what information we already have. So we are looking for time, how long it takes. And let's say we want to know in minutes, just for something different. So we want to know in minutes. So the distance is 15 kilometers. The time is unknown. And the speed is 4 kilometers per hour. We need to put this into our formula. So if you look at the top of the screen, you'll see our formula for time. So time is equal to the distance divided by the speed. Time is equal to 15 kilometers divided by 4 kilometers per hour. And what you'll see here is we can actually cancel out kilometers and kilometers. 15 divided by 4 is equal to 3.75, and we still have our hours. To solve that and turn it into minutes, we need to multiply it by 60, which equals 225 minutes, because we were looking for it in minutes at the start of the question. So how long will it take the hiker to walk 15 kilometers? If he walks at 4 kilometers an hour, 225 minutes or 3.75 hours. Again, seems reasonable. Finally, let's look at the last question on the purple sticky notepad. These are the types of questions that can sometimes confuse us. The question might say, could I possibly run at 8 meters per second? Now, we can think about that realistically. How far is 8 meters? Could I run that in 1 second? Possibly, possibly not. We're going to work out how to solve that. Now, fast forward a little bit. Here, 8 meters is in the ratio to 1 second. Now, we need to know how many kilometers per hour that is. So, our first step, there are different ways that we could actually solve this one, but depending on what order you would like to go in, I'm going to multiply both sides by 60. The reason being, if I multiply 1 second by 60, I'm going to get 60 seconds or 1 minute. But if I do that to the right-hand side, I have to do that to the left. So over here, I'm going to get 480 meters. It's covered in 1 minute running at that speed. Now you can start possibly thinking, could I physically do that? I reckon, looking at it, I would really struggle. I reckon most people around the world would actually struggle to run that quickly. Let's do it again, because we don't want to know what it is in minutes, we want to know per hour. So we multiply it by 60 again, because that will give us 60 minutes or 1 hour. Do that to the other side, and that will give us 28,800 meters per hour. Which is the same as if we need to now divide that by 1,000 to give us 28.8 kilometers per hour. So that is the same. 28,800 meters is 28.8 kilometers per 1 hour. So the speed is ultimately 28.8 kilometers per hour. Now, I don't think I could run that no matter how quickly I tried. This has been a slightly longer video than some of the others, but feel free to go back through it, have a go at a few of the questions, and see how you go.